No. Did they overcharge me? Now I bought 4 things. I got 5 things on this receipt. I'm gonna have to think real hard and see if I bought some jujubes or some gum or something, because I don't know what this is. And okay, I'm gonna need these dogs to stop banging on this fence trying to get busy right now while I'm trying to film. Don't nobody need to hear y'all trying to get busy. Welcome back to my channel. So today I decided I wanted to go ahead and try out some different items that I have in my collection that I just haven't tried out yet, but I'm really curious about. So I have a few items, hopefully not too many, just a few. I mean, it's a beautiful day, you know, it's nice and sunny and warm in the middle of December. It's about gonna be 85 this week. Crazy. But yeah, you know, the birds are chirping, the dog's outside trying to make puppies, and it's just a beautiful day. So like I said, I just have a few items that I want to kind of check out, try out, whatever. No big deal, just curious. And so one of the brands that I want to try is this collab. And I picked up the foundation and also the powder. One of the powders, they have these in different tints. But this foundation I actually came across by accident, you know, like I do, just in the store, walking through the aisle, minding my own business. And so I was at Sally Beauty Supply, which is actually somewhere that I pretty much never shop. Like maybe once a year I go to Sally Beauty Supply. I typically go to my local neighborhood beauty supplies, you know, that aren't big brand names. But this foundation caught my eye because I really like the packaging. The packaging is very sleek, nice thick bottle. As you can see, I love clean, neat packaging like this, and I love frosted bottles. But anywho, but anywho, this powder and foundation I picked up, later I found out that this is actually a brand that was created, or this makeup was designed by 8 different YouTubers, beauty influencers, and they came together, created a line of makeup products that, you know, they felt would be great and would work for all of us. Well, I don't know about all of us, but you know, a line of products that would be great. So they do have eyeshadows, eyeliner, mascara, you know, all of the different makeup items that you would want to try out, they do have. But I just picked this up because I'm actually on a journey for looking for the best foundation. So that's why I grabbed this. But so I'm really curious about it. Now in the store, I believe they have 10 shades, and this is shade number 9, which is tawny. So there's one shade that's darker than this that I was tempted to grab, but it just looked like it was gonna be too dark for me. And I'd actually rather have a foundation that is too light than too dark, because I can play around with it and kind of deepen it up, you know, and make it darker if I need to. But it's like, once a foundation is too dark, it's too dark. So that's why I got this color in the store. It actually looked like it was going to be a pretty decent match. Once I got home, it was another story, because I was looking at this bottle like, this kind of suspect. This look a little light. But it's also difficult to kind of, you know, eyeball a foundation color when it's in a frosted glass bottle. It's very difficult to actually figure out and see the color. So I'm really curious about trying this out. Also trying the powder out. Like I said, they had a few different shades in the powder, and the one that I got is Almond Caramel. So this is 0708 in their powder. And so I'm curious to try this. I actually just got this just to go under my eye area, because I really don't like putting loose powder, lighter loose powders all over my face, just because I just feel like they're too light. They're way too light. Half the time I feel like they're too light for under my eyes, but because I want to brighten my face, I go ahead and use them. But you know, my go-to personal holy grail, never give it up, is going to be my Fit Me pressed powder in 360, because this is my jam right here. This is my jam. So if they ever decide they're gonna stop making that, or they decide that, you know what, we done with the Fit Me line, then I'm probably gonna go in a corner or ball up and cry or something, because the Fit Me is my favorite. So anywho, enough about that. I'll be trying that. And then the other new thing that I actually am gonna start out with is this palette here. And this is called the Quintessential Palette, and it's from Ace Beauty. And I was seeing this palette, you know, scrolling up and down my timeline. Oh, and it's cruelty free too. I know a lot of people care about that stuff. This is cruelty free. But I was seeing this scrolling up and down my timeline all year, and I wanted it for the longest. And you know, a few months ago I went ahead and ordered it. So I got it, and it's really just been sitting here waiting for me to try it out. But not only is this palette beautiful, if you know, just take a look at the palette itself. You know, it has this gold embossing on it. Very nice, but it's just a regular cardboard palette. And let me open it up. And there is no mirror in this palette. This is a protective sleeve for the shadows, but there is no mirror. As you can see, it has this beautiful decoration in there. Kind of reminds me of the Juvia's Place palettes, where they put the pretty artistry in there with no mirror. And I know, like I said, a lot of people care about mirrors. Personally, I don't. You know, I got mirrors everywhere. So but this is the palette itself. As you can see, these are some really, really gorgeous colors, and all of the colors have names. So it's kind of like you have a nice variety in here of what you can do with this palette. There's not too many like warm transition shades in here, but I believe this palette is meant to be just a very different palette, kind of set apart. So that is what this palette looks like. So, you know, like oftentimes when I sit down to test out a palette, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this palette, what type of look, but I'm thinking I want to do something with this like tangerine and clove color, and then maybe play around with the blue. So we'll see what happens with that. So just a few things, you know, have fun and kind of play around and see if any of these products are going to be some of my new favorites. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start out with my eyes. I've already done my eyebrows, so I don't have to do that, and I've prepped my eyelids as well, just to kind of, you know, make this video go a little bit faster, hopefully. But it's probably gonna be lengthy anyway, because I feel like talking. So hopefully you'll stick around and play around in this makeup with me. So I think I'm just gonna jump right in and just start going with this palette. So I'm going to start out with this nutmeg color here. So this is what it looks like up close, this nutmeg. And we'll just go ahead and place that all over my eyelid and see how I feel about it. And if you'll notice, I really like to, if I'm working in a palette that has a eyeshadow shade that's pretty close to my own skin tone, I like to start out with that in the top if it's at all possible. So a lot of times I'll be putting on a eyeshadow that's a transition shade for me, and you're probably like, I can't even see nothing. What is she putting on? It's because I like to choose a color that's really close to my skin tone, just as my transition shade. So that's what I'm doing. And as you can see, this nutmeg is really very close to my own skin tone. And these shadows are very soft. At least this one is. It's very soft, and it's gliding on my eyelid very easily without any issues. Okay, so now that I have that down, I think I'm going to go in. I'm going to try and go ahead and gradiate down my eye. So I'm going to go in with this clove color. So it's this lighter peachy type color on the top. And there's literally like no fallout. As you can see, I'm tapping in here and there's no fallout at all. it's just straight shadow. It's not falling out anywhere, so that's a good thing. So this color is going on nicely also. It's not patchy and I'm not having a problem blending. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with this orangey type color down here, which is tangerine. Now the pigment on this color is not as deep as I would like for it to be, but these colors do seem like they are buildable. So I'm just building this color up on my lid and blending it in with that lighter peach color. I really like this color. This is one of those colors where it's like you don't really just have it in your collection. It's not one of those colors that are like basic to most palettes. It's very unique. It's like a mix between like a peachy and an orangey color. Okay, so now I'm going to go into this burgundy type color here, which is called Rosewood. And I'm just going to use a pointed shadow brush and try and focus that in my outer V and in my crease. Oh, I hope y'all can't hear my stomach growling. Y'all know I'm hungry on this diet. Stay hungry. I don't know where I'm going with this look, but now I'm going in making sure that I blend out that top portion of my eyelid into that deeper purple color, just mixing the peach in with the burgundy or purple, whatever, the rosewood color. Okay, so now that I have those colors blended together, I'm going to go ahead and go in. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do a slight cut crease. So I'm going to go ahead and use my LA Girl Pro Concealer, and this is in the color Fawn, to go ahead and just do a quick cut crease. Quick. There's no such thing as a quick cut crease, is there? But mine ain't gonna be quick. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and play with this color Mandarin here. This one, which is it's like an orangey type shimmer color. So I'm going to go ahead and play around with that and place that on the area that I just put the concealer. And I'm going to go in dry first and see how that is before I wet the brush. For a minute there, I thought I was smelling oranges. No, I'm not. It's all in my head. That's how that subliminal works. You know, I said Mandarin and I started smelling Mandarin. Oranges and everything. Probably because I'm hungry. Okay, so that color is pretty intense. It's pretty pigmented without me even wetting my brush, so that's nice. I'm gonna leave that like that, and I think in my inner corner I'm going to go with this amber up here. That is the name of this gold shimmer color, is amber. So I'm gonna go in to the inner portion with that gold color. See what happens. Shadows are very pigmented without even wetting your brush, because I did not wet this. So now I'm just going to go ahead and kind of blend that into that Mandarin color. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side, and then I'll move on. Okay, you guys, now that I have that done over here looking like a sunset snack, okay, looking like a sunset snack. Now I got to figure out what I want to do in the outer corner, so I think I am going to actually go into this black It's called Neroli. So I'm gonna go into this black and gently deepen up the outer corners of this lip. Hopefully I don't destroy it. I'm gonna take a real small brush to play with this black. So this black is very, very pigmented, as you can see. And I'm just gently dragging that into the inner portion of my eye. Now what I'm gonna do to kind of diffuse this a bit is I'm going to take the brush that I used that purple color on earlier and use that to blend it over. Hopefully that'll soften up the black a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, and I'm gonna move on to this foundation that I wanna try out and see what happens with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Fenty primer because I didn't pick up a primer from the Collab brand. I'm assuming they have one, I just didn't grab it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Fenty primer. I really like this Fenty primer, and quite honestly, I don't even know why. I couldn't even tell you, like, oh, it's super matte, or oh, it's super, you know, hydrating or whatever. I don't know why I like it, but I do. Maybe it's because it's Rihanna's, I don't know, but I like it. So I'm just gonna do a little color correcting because my eyes look like I done did 10 rounds with Mike Tyson, so we're gonna go ahead and try to tone these dark circles down a bit. And I don't know the coverage on this foundation. It says Meet Your Matte Velvet Foundation, and so I'm assuming it's matte. And like I said, this is the color Tawny number 9, but let me open this up. Yeah, it has just the ingredients on the back, but it doesn't have on the actual bottle a bunch of claims or anything like that as far as how long it's supposed to last or what it's supposed to do. So I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Okay, just a little. I'm not doing any heavy duty color correcting all over my face. As you can see, my face has a lot of color issues, but I want to see the actual coverage on this foundation. So it's pretty thick from what I could tell, so I'm just going to see. I don't really think I need to shake it up, but just in case. So I'm going to go ahead and just start out with 2 pumps, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's quite thick, and the pump applicator looks like this. So I'm going to use a foundation brush to go ahead and try this out since it is so thick, and just whatever. Like I said, I believe it's too light for me, but we'll see. Yes, this is a very, very thick foundation, and it does look to be a bit light for me, but hopefully my Fit Me powder will tone it down a bit. So just my initial thoughts on it, it's a bit thick for me. I don't really care for a foundation that's too thick. I like a nice thickness, but this is quite thick. It has pretty good coverage though. Pretty good coverage. I'm hoping that it dries down more matte than this, but because to me it actually has a bit of a dewy feel to it. So we'll see how it dries down. And I'm also not sure if it oxidizes too, so you know, if it does, then it might get a little bit darker. Coverage is actually pretty nice. So if any of you sisters are thinking about trying this foundation out and you haven't tried it yet, just know that this is the second to the last color. So there's only one color that I know of that was darker than this. This was number 9, and so I believe they have 10 shades. All right, Michael Jackson, come through. Come through, MJ. So yeah, this shade is actually a bit light to me. So like I said, I'm actually hoping that it oxidizes a little bit because I actually like it. I like the coverage. I like the feel of it. It feels a little bit heavier than foundations that I like. Like the Fenty is my favorite, and Fenty is very matte and very light. And this foundation is very thick, but the coverage I feel is actually amazing. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing any highlighting today because my whole face is highlighted. I think I'm going to use my Fenty matchstick in suede because that, this might actually, no, it's lighter. I was going to say this might actually be darker than this foundation, but no, it's actually a little bit lighter. So I'm going to use a little bit of this just so I can test out the powder. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this in so I can hurry up and put some powder on my face and warm this foundation up because it is super light, and I don't want anybody thinking I'm trying to make myself lighter than I am because no ma'am, I love my melanin. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm also going to use my Fenty matchstick in espresso so I can go ahead and do some contouring right quick. But you know what? Scratch that. I'm going to try out this powder first. I'm just curious to see the coloring on this powder. And so I already opened it up and took the protective thing off, so there's powder everywhere, but it comes with this little cushion in here also for you to use. I think I'm going to use one of my beauty sponges instead. All right, let's hear it for getting powder everywhere, everyone. So this powder is very, very fine. And this color, like I said, is Almond Caramel. And that's what it looks like on my sponge. So I couldn't imagine using this all over my face. Not for my skin tone. But it's a very nice powder. It's very soft and smooth, very silky. So we'll just see how it sets under my eyes. My first impressions on this powder is that I actually really like it. I like the color and the tone. It's more of a warm, like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as bright yellow to me as the Sacha Buttercup powder. Like I said, although all of the powders that I use under my eyes are too light to me, but it's not as yellow as that one. So I'm not going to just bake. I'm going to go ahead and brush this away so I can move on to my contour and the rest of my powder. It's very soft and it brushes away nicely. It's like it didn't leave that yellow cast, you know, that bright yellow cast like the Sacha does. This one is more of like a warm almond type powder. So I do believe that, you know, women of color, and I believe there was one that was one shade deeper than this powder. So I think that if you like the lighter powder under your eyes and setting your concealed areas, that you will actually like this powder. It's very, very nice. Okay, so let me hurry up and do some contouring so that I can make myself black again. So I'm using my Fenty Espresso matchstick just to bring some more warmth back into my face before I powder all over. And I'm just going to use my beauty blender to blend in my contour. y'all, I'm headed back to my natural color. My natural African tribe is coming back. It's all good. That's the only way you find out if things work for you or if the color is right sometimes is you just gotta try it out. But it makes it really hard with those frosted glasses. Even though they're pretty, it's very hard to tell whether or not that's your actual foundation shade. No matter how much of an expert you think you are at picking your shade. Okay, so let's move on to some powder. I'm gonna go ahead and use my regular Fit Me powder just so I can warm myself up even a little bit more. And then we'll go ahead and finish out the eyes using this palette. Ooh, I got a 5 head today, y'all. No 4 head, I got a 5 head today. Maybe I should have wore bangs today, huh? Okay, so let's hurry up and move on. Move this shindig along. And out of this palette, I really, really want to play with a pop of color out of here. So, you know, I always gotta go for the wowzer. So I'm gonna play with this blue. I think I'm actually just going to take that underneath my lower lash line just a little bit because I'm curious as far as the color and I'm curious as far as the actual shadow itself. So we're gonna add a little bit of blue to this. So that blue is nicely pigmented, very nicely pigmented. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add some black eyeliner, some mascara, and some eyelashes, and just give my final thoughts on this palette and this foundation. Okay, so I went ahead and put on some liner, some little lashes. I'm just gonna go ahead and do a quick line of my lips and do some lip gloss. Since this eye is pretty colorful, I'm just gonna do a simple lip. I love this Fenty lip gloss. This stuff smells so good. It smells like candy. And it's just very nice on the lips. It's just so lip glossy without being sticky. That's one thing I love about it. It's not sticky at all. Okay, so let me go ahead and set this with some of my Milani Make It Last. I've been using this for the past couple of weeks and I really like it. It smells really, really good and I love the way that it sets my makeup. Okay, you guys, so that is it. So my overall thoughts for the products that I tried today, I'll just start with the foundation. The foundation I actually like. I think it's a nice foundation. The coverage is great, and this foundation was $15.79 at My Sally Beauty Supply. Not sure if that's the, you know, across the board price for it. And this powder was $15.69. So, you know, pretty decent for this type of quality in a quote-unquote drugstore setting, you know, for Sally Beauty Supply. It's on your you know, higher price end, but it's a good price for these items. It's pretty, can't talk today. For these type of items in this type of packaging and the quality of the product, the pricing is not bad. It's actually quite good. So aside from the color being off, which I actually might take it back and go get the darker one, and then that way, you know, I'll test that out and see if that one is darker, then I know, okay, I'm in the shade right in between. So aside from the color being off, I actually like this foundation. It's not as matte as I like, because I like it to be so matte that it basically just sucks out your soul. So it's not as matte, it still has a little bit of luminous to it, but it's a very, very nice foundation if you like that type. Okay, you guys, so quick side note, after I filmed the video and, you know, tried out the foundation and realized that it's just ridiculously too light, I decided to go ahead, run a few errands, and run back by Sally's to exchange the foundation. So I did pick up this darker shade in the foundation.
I'm fine. Well, I bought this and it's too light, and I know they have one color darker, and I kind of want to look at that color first though, to see if, you know, if it'll be a match for me.
See just me going out just a little bit. You know, it is dewy. To me, this foundation is not matte. It wasn't matte when I left, and it's definitely not matte now. So this is just how the foundation is looking after just basically really just about an hour to 2 hours of me running out and running a few errands and coming back. So yeah, so anyways, I went and exchanged the foundation, got a darker shade, because I actually do like the foundation. So I feel like if I usually dust my Maybelline Fit Me powder over my face lightly, you know, just to kind of powder my face. But with using this foundation, I probably really set it nicely with a loose setting powder just to get more of a matte feel that I like. But this is the color. So this is the deepest shade that they have, which is Mocha, which is number 10. And so now I have the new shade. Let me see if I can open this right quick and pump some out just so you can see. I don't have the other shade anymore because I already exchanged it, but you can see it on my face. So this is the shade Mocha. So as you can see, it is a little bit deeper and warmer. And like I said, you know, when you're dealing with the frosted glass, sometimes it's a little difficult to be able to pick out your shade. But I think this will probably work very, very nicely for me. It's a nice, yeah, it's a very, very nice warm brown shade as opposed to this shade, which is a little more yellow. So I'm looking forward to trying this out. But I definitely don't think that this foundation is matte. They overcharged me. Now I bought 4 things. I got 5 things on this receipt. I'm gonna have to think real hard and see if I bought some jujubes or some gum or something, because I don't know what this is. And okay, so for the palette, this Ace Beauty Quintessential Palette, my thoughts on this palette is that I love it. I do. I love it. I didn't have any issues working with it. The black, I can't complain about the black because people are always saying, oh, I wish, you know, no one has a real true deep black in their palette, and this one is. I mean, you want to black out, use this black. So that's the only issue that I really had with creating this look, is once I went in with the black in the outer corners, it just kind of was like overpowering. You know, it's like you really have to just barely go into it unless you want a lot of black. So other than that, the colors are gorgeous. I love them. I love the actual shadows themselves. Blending was great. The variety in this palette is great. So I ordered this off of the Ace Beauty website. I'm not sure if it's available anywhere else, but I ordered it off of their website, and at the time that I purchased it, it was $38.99. Not sure what price it is now, but if it's still available, I would definitely say this is a nice palette to have if you like color, if you like variety, or if you're just looking for a black eyeshadow that is truly black. There's one in here. So those are my thoughts on this palette. Anyway, you guys, that is it for me trying out these products. I just picked a few today. I didn't want to go crazy with a whole face of new products. But just in case you're thinking about or interested in purchasing these things, you know, hopefully this will give you a reference that you can go by. So thanks for watching and spending some time with me, and I'll see you on my next video. Toodles! Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Sit down.